Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 12, Intellectual Freedom and Censorship. Thanks for all the discussion this week about middle school titles. Um, Jessica, I did want to address your comment about Peanut. Um, I particularly enjoy using Peanut with book clubs with middle schoolers because it's very polarizing. I think the idea of someone lying about something that is so potentially life-threatening, um, it really can challenge students, and some can. The main point of the a book is about teens, you know, feeling like they start with a simple lie and then just cannot get out of it. That um, there's so many opportunities where it would be the right time to sort of come clean, and they just can't do it. And the discussions I've had teaching it, I've done it a few times, have been wonderful. And also some teens just can't get over the fact that anyone would ever lie about something so serious. But in the conversation, I would share, I had an acquaintance that lied about having cancer, and I knew plenty of teens that lie all the time, with very serious ramifications. And it's a pretty great, challenging environment talking about why people lie and lies and consequences and um, accepting responsibility for those things. And so if you haven't read Peanut, I highly recommend it, and I do suggest that I would say in my experience, it's a really it's a good. Sometimes it's great to choose graphic novels and titles that are gonna kind of divide a group. It really can lead the best discussions in my experience. That people, sometimes if they hate something, they're willing to engage more than if they have no opinion, or they even like it marginally. So. I had a few questions about the book talking assignment. You really can use titles that we've discussed in this class. And I've sort of changed my mind a little bit, where I believe I said last week that you couldn't use any of the middle school ones that I book talked. But if those are some titles you really, really want to do, that's totally fine. It has to, and as long as it's a completely different than the way I did it, that can be great also, to sort of see, same book, same graphic novel, but your own unique interpretation of it. That's one of the, it's a wonderful thing about book talking. Everyone will do it in their own way, and it's such a great, useful tool for promoting the collection. Okay, so on to intellectual freedom and censorship. It was kind of neat this year when we were, um, last month, or now 2 months ago in September, for the first time, celebrating Banned Books Week. It was the national highlight was on graphic novels and comics. So I thought, what a great time to kind of say um, that there's the American Library Association, wanted to sort of recognize that the more popular graphic novels are, the more chance for um, challenges nationally, and just wanting to um, you know, promote or to celebrate that there is resources, and that by and large, one of the hallmarks of libraries is that they have that they challenge censorship, and that they do the best they can to have this wide range of a wide collection, so everyone, or the community or the public, has that opportunity to explore for themselves what's interesting to them. So, right, so Banned Book Week is an annual event celebrating the freedom to read, typically held during the last week of September. It highlights the value of free and open access to information. Banned Book Week brings together the entire book community, librarians, booksellers, publishers, journalists, teachers, and readers of all type, in shared support of the freedom to seek and to express ideas, even those some consider unorthodox or unpopular. And I do want to note, particularly for you who are, new to the profession, or just considering it, I have gotten um, challenges from other library students or other people saying, there's some things that are so offensive to me, that I personally, don't don't want in a library, or don't feel, anyone should, um, you know, have those, be able to read it or something. And so, my challenge is, it's not that you have to like or value everything in your collection, but that what um, there's something very different from, kind of a personal opinion versus saying that no one should ever have access to this information. And, I feel strongly, and many librarians do too, and as a profession, that, the point isn't to always, like, you're bound to offend someone. If you're doing your job right, you're having a wide range of opinion, that someone's going to be offended, and that, then that's appropriate. That's okay. Humans have such, wide differences of opinion, and that, the point isn't to have just one view or one, type of material, but to have is, wide range of possible as you possibly can. And so, but you also have to be able to be willing to, just as it said, challenge censorship. There is a responsibility to provide all this information to people, and you personally might not, value a certain item, but if you can see that it has, worth to people, then, it's it's worth fighting, fighting for it. Um, so by focusing on efforts across the country to remove or restrict access to books, Ban Book Week draws national attention to the harms of censorship, gives the public an opportunity to explore the issues and controversies around book challenges and book bannings. Usually the books featured during Ban Book Week have all been targeted with removal or restriction in libraries and schools. While books have been and continue to be banned, part of Banned Book Week celebrates the fact that, and that I feel this is very important, in the majority of cases, the books have remained available. And, pat on our back, this happens really only thanks to the efforts of librarians, teachers, students, and community members who stand up and speak out for the freedom of read. Um, Banned Book Week is sponsored by, you know, lots and lots of, national organizations: American Booksellers, the American Library Association, Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Freedom to Read Foundation, National Coalition Against Censorship. On and on and on. It's a really great to highlight, to the public, that, I've had the experience where patrons would say, "What? I didn't know anyone banned things anymore." If they haven't, directly been affected by that, and, would say, "Yeah, yes, really. Every year, American Library Association reports, hundreds of challenges to books." And, that's just the ones that they're reported. They estimate the number of unreported challenges is significantly higher. People continually try to take away readers' power to decide what books are right for them or their children, by bringing challenges to remove books from libraries. And sometimes it wins. Sometimes the books are removed from circulation. That's what banning means. And, we'll talk about, comic books, graphic novels, and manga are frequently challenged and banned. And, so it's for us to stand up for it. All right, so, this is from Teaching with Graphic Novels, Bridget Alverson. It was in, last month's SLJ. I'll put the link on. Um, so on March 14th, 2013, so last year, teachers in the Chicago Public Schools were told without explanation to remove all copies of Persepolis from their classrooms. A day later, facing protests from students and anti-censorship organizations, Chicago Public Schools CEO explained the powerful images of torture. There it is, um, on a single page of the book. This is a 300-page book. It made it unsuitable for seventh graders and required the district to give teachers in grades 8 through 10 special professional development classes before they could teach it. The book was pulled from the classroom for those grades, but remained in school libraries. And I did a little follow-up, and the schools decided that it wasn't appropriate for grades 8 through 10 also. And so it is available in the classroom for grades 11, but I don't know of any, trying to kind of get a sense. I think because of the, um, such a strong stance from the administration that they're not teaching it in 11th grade either, um, I think this is a real tragedy. The This, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, coming of age tales of modern day Iran that is extremely interesting and important and challenging in all the right ways. Provocative of how a child lives through a revolution, and the rules change, and trying to come to grips with what life was before and after a change in government. And it's I think there's such a strong educational element to it. We can argue about which age is appropriate, but I think particularly it's appropriate in high school. I mean, I could be convinced either way about junior high, but also having family from Chicago. Chicago teens generally have more exposure to in their life to violence and issues where it's particularly important to be able to have ways to discuss intense issues in a safe educational environment. So this is something we should know about, and to feel that particularly as challenge materials become classroom curricula, um, that we want to be able to support those educators, because that's exactly what the ban did, or that chilling effect, where it took something very useful and made it inaccessible to in this case thousands of students. So there's the reasons that people try to ban graphic novels are similar to prose and to other reasons. um, the content, profanity, offensive language, sex or nudity, violence or horror, any reference to drugs or alcohol, if they feel it's offending themselves politically or socially, racially offensive, or offensive to religious beliefs. Um, there are a lot of they as we've read in this course, there's a lot of graphic novels that raise challenging subjects, and some people feel no one should have to read that or see those images. um, I think as we talked before, the sort of the paradox of graphic novels, it's the visual element that really gives them their power, and it can also make them vulnerable to challenges. Researcher Stephen Carey calls this the naked buns effect. Um, he would say, or he said, here's a quote: "It's the rare student or parent who objects to the words naked buns, but an image of naked buns can set off fireworks." Yeah, which is true. Just as one image can bring a challenge. So, all right.